All right, well, hey everyone, it's Rebecca Ruth. Thanks for joining me again today. Today I have Brickell French with me. Hi, Brickell.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Yeah,
Um, anyway, I like to jump right in. So, Brickell, tell us where you are and what you do in the industry.
absolutely. So, as you said, my name is Brickell French. Locally, I'm based out of Richmond, Virginia, and I have been a model in the industry for a lot of years. I don't want to date myself, but I have enough experience in the industry. So now I am, for the past like a couple of years, I have been more so on the model coaching end as well. So that's like my baby, because I feel like once you get to a certain level, you have all this knowledge and you have to give it. You have to give it back. So coaching has really been a happy place for me. And I actually started a business called Majesty Modeling. It's more focused on kids, so actually giving back to them as well. It is a party business. So if you have a little girl or a little boy that has a birthday coming up, it really fulfills them as far as like letting them know who they are, who they should be, and how they should look upon themselves, and that they're more than just what their friends may say or what their situation may say. So really tapping into their character and exposing all the greatness within them. So that's been my life.
That's very cool. So it's a party business for kids, but is it
Yes.
centered around modeling?
Yes, it is a
Okay.
model experience party. It's really a whole experience. So it is a model experience party. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so walk us through the experience. What happens at these parties?
Exactly. So there are a few different packages. So in one of the packages, we have a model lifestyle package, which more so focuses on the experience of like a casting and kind of getting ready, like you have on your all black. You are you come clean face, like just the beautiful as you automatically are. You enter the room, you get certain little gift bags, and it's really it's actually myself and a couple other models that will host the party to show them the classic runway walks, to feed the values and characteristics and different things into them throughout the party. It's a 2-hour party. For the birthday girl, she gets a tiara and gets all the love and all that as well. And then each of the party participants, they leave with their own model bag. So they always like a little model bag sampler, I like to call it. And then other parties is more of like we have like the princess, so caters to a different, not so focused on the industry, just more having fun, dressing up, have more like of a girly walk and not so model. Because some people aren't, so I don't want to really be in the industry. So just and for them to enjoy and to be free and expressing their creativity as well. And actually we have a new one for the boys, because I have had actually a girl and boy twin. So I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to leave our little guys out, and especially since I have a son as well. He's just like, well, why do you have all this girl stuff? Where's the boy stuff? So feeding and pouring the good and giving them good as well, and letting them know, hey, this is what a gentleman looks like. And for those parties, I have men do it, because I feel like in order to really raise a good gentleman, raise a good man, he still has to have an example. So I have men do those parties.
That's very cool. So it's kind of like what are those called? Like it sounds a little bit like cotillion, almost for like little kids. Is that but like, and I was a little bit but I was also going to ask you already answered, because I was going to ask you what it looks like for boys, because of course I have boys and I have a little 5-year-old. So I was like, quite frankly, I'm picturing my son and I'm like, okay, so would he like do that? Would he?
Yeah.
You know?
So the good thing about the boys, because I feel like with the boys, they're more simple. However, we do want them, because it's called Majesty Modeling. So we want them to dress up and feel like kings and feel like princes. So we still allow them to have like the robes and like all the attire of a king or a prince. So as well as like a classic gentleman feel, like different accessories that they can put on and feel like they're going to take care of business. So just to feed into their confidence as well.
Yeah, I like that. Of course, I love things for girls, and I think that that's just as important. But I feel like, excuse me, things like this are rare for boys.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a need that's becoming. Well, I'm about to butcher that, but that is something that we're needing
Yeah.
more and more, is focus on our little boys.
Absolutely.
And I like that it's not doesn't necessarily have to be catered to modeling, because you're right. Especially if they're young, they don't necessarily know that they want to
Yeah, they just want
model.
to have fun and
They just
use the accessories and have an experience. So that's a really big part of Majesty, is the values that we impart during the party, but as well as it's a whole experience, and we want you to think about it forever and ever and ever. Like, oh man, my 7th birthday was the best one ever. So
that's awesome. And like, what is the age group? Like, when can you start
4 to
those parties?
13.
4 to 13. Y'all are brave though, because I have so far avoided birthday parties because I'm just like, I just can't do it. Y'all are really brave.
Yeah, especially with my son, with him seeing me model and kind of walk around the house, and he puts on his little boy walk. I'm just like, all right, well, if you're gonna walk, you gotta do it right now.
Right.
So, I mean, like just to have them feel like, oh yeah, I'm cool. It's so cute.
Right. Yeah, I love it. So before you started this, are you still modeling yourself?
Well, outside of quarantine, yeah.
Right, of course. Yeah, outside of quarantine, but yes. So tell us a little bit how your modeling career started. How long have you been modeling?
Okay. So actually I give you a little bit more backstory as well. So when I was growing up, it was me, myself, and my dad, and I was super shy. I was like, don't even look at me. I'm just a tall girl over here in the corner. Don't mind me. And then when I went off to college is when I really got to know myself, and I went to my first casting, and I tried out, and then I did my show, and it was just like, wow, you killed it. And I was just like, I did what everybody else did, but I realized like that I did awesome, and that's my gift, and that's my passion. So I just kept it going. I did more photo shoots, and I actually went to Old Dominion. So that was, I was doing a lot of local gigs and school gigs, and then end up going up to DC and here and there. I was just like, okay, paid. All right, great. I'm in the car, I'm going. So I was just growing, and it felt good to grow. And then life hit. After graduation, I was just like, okay, well, I guess I pick a real career. So having to navigate that life of having to come back home and figure out what's next, because my dad was like, all right, well, you got to pay this car insurance, and bills hit, and the reality kind of set in. So just kind of navigating that, stepped away for a little bit, then came back because it just didn't feel right being away. And then some people say, well, are you still modeling? Yeah, just kind of like figuring stuff out. However, when I really came back in a different capacity with more so business, and not just I'm out doing any and every gig. So I really am here to help others at this point too, because I know I've kind of gotten a little bit of age on me now. So, I may not be the first in demand, but I'm willing to help out the beginners and the young models as well. So,
well, the thing is, the industry has come so far that now I feel like any age, I think I've pretty much seen everything on the runway or in print somewhere. So, it has changed. Yeah. Cause when I first started, some time ago,
yeah, when I started
some time ago, like that, those kind of things matter. But now I'm like,
Yeah.
I see everything out there. So,
Hmm.
but I was going to ask, what's your favorite thing about modeling?
My favorite thing about modeling, I would say that you can really get into character to become whatever you are dressed up as. So in normal clothes, if you do a couture pose, you may look a little crazy. But if you have the attire and makeup and the hair, and it's just the energy flows and it's just perfect. And I love when it's just perfect. Like even when I'm model coaching at a photo shoot for someone else, and I see, oh, well, do this pose a little bit this way, or like I can see the whole picture before it's even snapped. But when everything just comes together and it's like, it's just perfect.
Yeah, and I get what you mean though. And it's so,
Like,
and
even all the stress behind scenes, nobody knows. Nobody knows.
I say that all the time, all the time. You like people do, unless you do it, people do not understand what
Yeah,
goes into the
yeah,
behind the scenes and everything. But I love that you said that perfect moment, because that perfect moment, what we see on the runway, what we see in print, that took a
yeah.
lot of work
Exactly.
to
Yep.
get to
That was
get
an
that
investment.
perfect yes, it took a
Yes.
lot of work. So when you get that perfection, it
Yeah.
really is so satisfying, because it's
Yeah.
so hard to get it. i
Exactly.
um I've been watching a documentary about Deanna Vreeland. She was the notorious editor-in-chief for Vogue back in the day, and
Hmm.
she was like perfectionist, and everything like that. But I loved her energy and her kind of passion, and her, like, just like you said, like, we're gonna get this right.
Yeah.
you know
Yep.
and like
And
there's no
especially,
way to describe it. It's just, you just know when it's
yeah,
right. you know
exactly. And
yeah.
you're working with a team and everybody has the same mindset of getting it done.
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
Love it. Yeah.
So was it a difficult shift for you to go from, I guess, modeling career, and I know you still do it, but more so like on the business end of it now?
I wouldn't say it was really difficult because I was already going to school for business. So I already had the mind of, okay, I'm definitely gonna have my own. Like I could never see myself working for one job or beyond 5 years. I was just like, what? 25? What? No. So I already knew that I needed to establish something. But going from modeling into business, it was just a shift. Honestly, actually, when I came home from ODU, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do and trying to apply for jobs, satisfy that end, but also trying to figure out me. So I don't know what movie it was. It may have been The Joker. It may have been The Joker. He had said, if you're good at something, you may as well get paid for it. So I was like, that's a great line, but it actually set in. And I'm just like, okay, well, how can I use that and have an impact on the community, have an impact using my gift and make it make sense. So it just kind of came.
That's
So
amazing how where we get our inspiration from.
exactly. Exactly.
That's great. That's great. I guess for me, one of the questions that I always ask and bring up is, the this group, the platform for this group and the whole base of this group was kind of a place for industry people to come and
Hmm.
kind of support each other, because it's a tough industry to be
Yeah.
in. We
Yeah.
love it, we all love it, but it's tough.
Hmm.
And so of course we're on the platform for Runway to Life, which is
Hmm.
the nonprofit that deals with mental health awareness and suicide prevention, but of course
Yeah.
doing it through fashion. So something that I always like to ask is, what do you've been in the industry now for a while. So what
Yeah.
do you do to kind of take care of yourself, like self-care within this industry, and like, just deal with the everyday pressures of this industry?
Yeah. Well, I love Runway to Life and I love their mission and what they do. And I guess because I also kind of tap into it a little bit in a different capacity. And it's real. Like people see models and they think, oh, they're just perfect people and they don't struggle. But no, a lot of people, they're smiling, they're putting on fierce faces, and they're melting. They're one step away from crumbling. So it's real. So I love Runway to Life. But as far as my self-care, I really just have a glass of wine. I might step back and have a glass of wine, kick my feet up, throw the heels over in the corner, have my hair a little, like, just feel like a person and not always have to feel like a model. Because a lot of people think, oh, she's always a model. No, I am a person, I'm a woman, and I'm tired. So I'm going to take a rest mentally, physically, and just be. Because it is a lot to have to keep up with the persona of perfection. But a lot of people can't really relate to perfection. So I feel like being relatable and saying, hey, I struggle with this, or I can't put cookies down. If there's a cookie, I'm probably going to eat it. So just being honest with what you struggle with. So, but yeah, and also the people that I confide in, they help out a lot. They have the same positive mindset, and they're able to lift me up and say, hey, take a break. It's fine. Nobody's judging you for having a down moment, and come back. As long as you pull yourself back together and you come back, then yeah. So that support network is awesome.
Yeah, that's for sure. And, I say it all the time, if it's not, oh, we lost you on camera. There we go. I
Yeah,
say,
I'm call. I'm sorry.
that's okay. If it's not this group, that's fine, but make sure you find some kind of support for yourself in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
But I love how you said it. I always get great quotes from people through these interviews. So, you said I'm not going to quote you right, but basically you're saying you come home and you take off the model and you just become Brickell again. Yeah. And I think that's great. I think that's a great way to put it, to describe it. Knowing that you have a place to go, kind of a safe place and safe people where you don't have to be that person anymore, and you can just go back to being you. It's exhausting. Yeah. It's exhausting. And like a lot of the shows and stuff, I'm not going to call them out, but a lot of the shows on TV about fashion and stuff and modeling talk about a lot about always being a model. Like I pick that up a lot. Yeah. And like, you're always a model. And I'm like, not really. Like, you've got to be able to let your hair down sometimes, and not always be a model. So I like that you said that. But and also, I can appreciate a good glass of wine.
Exactly. I found me a new favorite this week. So yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. So like, what advice? So you've had success in the industry as a model, and now you have success. And by the way, I love that, because what you're doing with the party business is something new. I've actually never heard of that before. So that's another thing that I love. I love showing people within the industry that there's so many things that you can do, and there's so many different avenues that you can go in. So I love that too. So what advice would you give someone, like in the industry, wanting to get started in the industry, wanting to shift to the business side, because you've kind of seen different faces of it?
Advice that I would say to someone trying to get in the industry, have a couple of models that you network with, that you can trust, that you can get some feedback from, whether it's someone like me or whether someone like that has been in the industry 5 years or however long. Have someone that you can trust, because there are a lot of people out here that say, oh, you're pretty, and you get swept up into the wrong area, and you don't want to go the wrong direction. Especially out here right now, there's sex trafficking, there's people just trying to be wrong and have you out on the street. Like, it's many different ways to get somebody. And I would just say, if you're so green, have somebody that you can confide in that will filter some of your greenness. And as far as like shifting from model to business, figure out what area, what passion drives you, and make something from there. Because I never heard of what I like. It was totally a gift from God. I would definitely have to say, like, he dropped that, and I was like, oh, that's creative. And even in my research for doing my business, it was hard, because I'm just like, there is nothing like mine, so I can't really assess. It was just kind of like things that are similar. But I would just say keep pushing as well. Like, even though it may not happen in the time that you desire, it will happen, and you will impact the right people that you're supposed to. So don't be scared. Go ahead. Don't be scared.
Yeah. So I love what you said about again, finding other models, other people, and whatever it is that you're doing in the industry, find other people who are doing it. So,
Yeah.
reputable sources,
Yeah.
because as you said, and we don't talk about it a lot, but, a lot of people get swept away to the wrong people. Sex trafficking is a huge issue, and they do target people, and disguise themselves as agents or whatever it is.
Yeah. Or
in
they
the
say,
industry.
hey, come to a photo shoot at midnight.
Right. Which to me sounds really suspect anyway, so I don't understand why you go, but that, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so things like that, I think is important. And I think, I know that there are even, people in this group who have talked about that and everything like that, and how to lead people down the right road, things like that. And then, like you said, finding your niche.
Yeah.
Is essentially, and finding your niche and just, going hard with that. Is that your child?
Yes, he is. My child is currently like, hey, Mom, I've given you some time.
That is fine. So we will wrap up. I understand it completely, because I've got one here. So I understand completely. But real quick, where can people find you on social media?
Absolutely. So people can find me at That's Brickell, THATSBRICKELL on Instagram. That's my personal page, as well as that'sbrickell.com, or my business page at My Majesty Majesty Modeling, My Majesty Modeling on Instagram, and majestymodeling.com for my website. And actually, my website, I'm doing a revamp. So stay tuned. I'm so excited about the revamp. I have, like, this whole quarantine, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to take the time to assess, to read, to when everything's going, I'm going to. So, but that's where they can find. Oh, also on Facebook, I have a That's Brickell page and a Majesty Modeling page as well. So I always get the my and the all that confused, but yeah.
Awesome. And then also I wanted to ask though, Brickell is a very interesting name. So where's your name from? It's a cool name.
My parents got creative.
Okay. I mean, hey, that's fine. Because I was like, Brickell, that's cool. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. So all the growing up, I used to think that they took the B from my dad. They took the RICK from a cousin. But then I found out actually on Facebook, maybe like 5 years ago, that my mom's friend is the one that made it up. I was like, oh, so now I get the truth. But I guess somebody made it up.
Oh, so she just made it up and your parents liked it.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's
like,
cool.
Well, it works for me, especially with the last name, kind of works.
That's cool. Very cool. Yeah, I like it. It's very unique.
Thank
very
you.
Cool name. Well, Brickell, thank you so much for joining me, for chatting with me a little bit. Your son's got you on cue, so I'm gonna let you go.
He's like, I'm hungry. Where's dinner?
So, thank you so much, and I hope to talk to you soon.
All right, absolutely. Thank you.
All right, you have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.